If I have to watch one more 19-year-old on TikTok yelling at me from the driver's seat of a rented Lamborghini about how I need to start a dropshipping empire, I am going to throw my phone into the ocean. Seriously, we have been completely brainwashed into thinking that making money has to be this hyper-masculine, adrenaline-fueled side hustle where you sleep 2 hours a night, day trade cryptocurrency on 4 monitors, and talk about your mindset in a cold plunge pool. It is exhausting. I am exhausted. You are exhausted. We just survived a global pandemic, multiple historic economic crashes, and the invention of artificial intelligence that actively wants to steal our entry-level email writing jobs. We do not have the energy to become Sigma grindset entrepreneurs. We just want to afford groceries without having a minor panic attack in the checkout line. So today, we are going to talk about the absolute opposite of all that flashy nonsense. We are going to talk about the most incredibly, painfully, aggressively boring ways to make money. Because here is the secret that the finance gurus selling you a $500 course do not want you to know. Real money, the kind of money that actually keeps a roof over your head and stops you from crying when your car needs new brake pads, is boring. It is dull. It requires zero hype. Before we dive into the void, I need to legally declare that absolutely nothing I am about to say is financial advice. I am a deeply caffeinated, chronically stressed corporate employee whose current retirement plan is hoping a meteor hits the earth before I turn 65. I am wearing a shirt I pulled out of a laundry basket. Please do not make major life decisions based on my rants. Consult a certified professional, or at least someone who owns a real briefcase. Alright, let's start with a massive, consolidated bucket of financial strategies that all involve doing absolutely nothing with the money you already have. I am talking about automated wealth building. Most of us keep whatever pathetic amount of savings we have in a standard bank account. Do you know what the national average interest rate is on a standard savings account right now? It is roughly 0.46%. That means if you have $1,000 sitting there, the bank gives you like $4 a year. Thanks, guys. I will try not to spend it all on a single iced coffee. But if you literally just take 3 minutes to open a high-yield savings account online, you can easily get around 4.5% to 5%. That is free money. Next in this bucket is automating your retirement match. If your corporate job offers a 401k match and you are not taking it, you are literally setting part of your salary on fire. Let's say your employer matches 3% of your salary. It is a guaranteed 100% return on your investment. Just log into their ancient portal, click a few boxes, and let a robot siphon the money out of your paycheck. Add to this the S&P 500. Instead of picking individual meme stocks like you are gambling in a suit, just throw your spare cash into a broad market index fund, close the app, and wait 30 years. Historically, it averages around 10% a year before inflation. And finally, if you are absolutely terrified of risk, lock up your cash in government treasury bills or Series 1 bonds. It sounds like something your grandfather would talk about at Thanksgiving, but it is backed by the government and gives you a guaranteed yield. You set these 4 things up once, you never look at them, and you just quietly get richer while watching Netflix. The second profoundly boring way to make money is to be deeply, unapologetically disloyal to your employer. Job hopping is the new promotion. The concept of the corporate family is a myth designed to keep you working late on Fridays in exchange for cold pizza. We have all seen the data. If you stay at your current company, you might get a standard 3% annual raise, which does not even cover the inflation on a dozen eggs anymore. But if you switch jobs every 2 to 3 years, the average salary bump is usually between 8 and 10%, and often much higher for Gen Z entering mid-level roles. You do not need a complicated side hustle to make more money. You just need to quietly update your LinkedIn profile, take a few awkward Zoom interviews on your lunch break in your car, and abandon your current company the second a better offer clears. It is purely administrative. It is tedious, but it pays infinitely better than waiting around for a gold watch and a pat on the back from a middle manager named Craig. Number 3 brings us to the world of freelancing, but we are keeping it aggressively unsexy. I am talking about B2B technical writing. Nobody wants to write a 5,000-word technical manual on industrial plumbing software. Nobody dreams of writing safety compliance newsletters for forklift operators. And because absolutely no one wants to do it, it actually pays real money. You do not have to build a personal brand. You do not have to do TikTok dances. You do not need an aesthetic Instagram grid. You just have to sit at your laptop, drink your room temperature coffee, and type out coherent, grammatically correct sentences about supply chain logistics until a mid-sized corporation mails you a check. It is soul-crushing, yes, but it is lucrative soul-crushing. For our fourth boring hustle, let's talk about becoming a digital file janitor. Small business owners, creators, and aging entrepreneurs are drowning in unorganized digital data. They have 40,000 poorly named photos and 5,000 unsorted spreadsheets rotting in a shared Dropbox folder from 2019. It gives them anxiety just looking at it, so they ignore it. They will gladly pay you to spend a weekend going through their digital trash and methodically renaming everything to something logical, like invoice _ June _ version 3 _ final.pdf. You sit in your pajamas, listen to a podcast, and drag files into color-coded folders. You are bringing pure, uncreative administrative order to a chaotic universe and getting paid hourly to do it. Number 5 is diving into the absolute bureaucratic nightmare that is the American healthcare system. I am talking about medical billing and coding. This requires a little bit of upfront training or a basic certificate, but once you have it, it is the ultimate work-from-home isolation job. You are essentially acting as a translator between doctors and insurance companies. You read a medical chart that says a guy broke his leg falling off a ladder, and you turn that into a specific alphanumeric code so the hospital gets paid. It is completely robotic data entry. There is no creative thinking allowed. You follow a rigid matrix of rules, hit submit, and get a paycheck. It is slightly dystopian, but it is one of the most stable, reliably boring industries on the planet. Moving right along to number 6, we have specialized transcription. Forget trying to start a cool true crime podcast. Go get paid to transcribe unedited audio from an agricultural supply store's quarterly sales meeting, or a regional logistics conference. There are platforms that will pay you simply to listen to people drone on for hours and type out exactly what they say verbatim. It requires zero creative interpretation. In fact, creativity will get you fired. It allows your brain to completely disconnect while your hands perform a mechanical task. It is tedious, it will make your eyes blur, and it pays you for your endurance rather than your inspiration. Number 7. On the menu of misery is bookkeeping for micro businesses. You would be shocked at how many 24-year-olds with successful Etsy shops or freelance graphic design businesses are absolutely terrified of their own finances. They have shoeboxes full of receipts and a paralyzing fear of the IRS. If you have basic spreadsheet skills or are willing to watch 3 hours of QuickBooks tutorials on YouTube, you can offer to be their bookkeeper. You do not offer financial strategy. You do not do forecasting. You literally just look at their bank statements and match their expenses to the correct rows in a spreadsheet so they can hand it to an accountant at tax time. You're just a human calculator bringing peace of mind to panicked creatives. Number 8 is selling your bodily fluids. No, seriously. Plasma donation. It sounds bleak, and honestly, it kind of is, which perfectly fits the vibe of the 2020s economy. But you literally just walk into a clinic, sit in a reclining chair, and let a phlebotomist do their job. You can read a book, scroll through Twitter, or stare blankly at the daytime television playing in the waiting room, and they pump money onto a prepaid debit card for you. You can make a few $100 a month just by hydrating properly and existing in a chair for an hour. It requires zero entrepreneurial spirit, just veins and a tolerance for the smell of rubbing alcohol. Number 9 is the art of flipping. But we are ignoring the hype. Do not try to flip limited edition sneakers or vintage watches. That market is saturated with people who care way too much. Flip boring things, specifically office furniture. This is a goldmine right now. Thousands of startups go bankrupt every month because their CEO spent all their venture capital on cold brew kegs and ping pong tables. They liquidate pristine, highly ergonomic office chairs for absolute pennies. You buy a Herman Miller chair off Facebook Marketplace from a depressed tech bro for $50, wipe the startup tears off the armrests with a Clorox wipe, and sell it to a work-from-home accountant for $300. It is bulky, it is heavy, it is incredibly annoying to transport, and it is incredibly boring. That friction is exactly why there is a massive profit margin. And finally, number 10, the lowest friction hustle in existence: pet sitting or house sitting. People with disposable income will literally pay you to pack a bag, leave your terrible apartment, and sit on their much nicer couch. You get paid to use their faster Wi-Fi, raid their pantry, and occasionally make sure their elderly golden retriever does not eat a decorative pillow. You are essentially getting paid to exist in a different zip code. The best part? You can do your remote corporate job from there. You can do your freelance industrial plumbing writing from there. You can do your digital file janitor work from there. You are stacking boring incomes on top of each other while petting a dog. Here is the ultimate counterintuitive truth that nobody is saying online right now. Boredom is a financial superpower. The modern economy is explicitly designed to keep you highly stimulated, highly emotional, and highly impulsive. Every algorithm, every targeted advertisement, every flashy finance influencer is trying to get you to react. Because when you react, you spend money. When you feel a sense of missing out, you make bad investments. When you feel insecure about your status, you buy things you cannot afford to impress people you do not even like. When your financial strategy is aggressively, relentlessly boring, you become immune to the hype cycle. You stop looking for shortcuts. You accept that building any kind of stability in this cursed economic landscape is just a long, slow, tedious grind of making slightly better choices than you did yesterday. If a money-making strategy is exciting, there is a very high probability that you are the product, or you are the one left holding the bag at the end of the scam. Embrace the dullness. Let the crypto bros have their heart attacks and their rented luxury cars. We are going to sit here with our high-yield savings accounts and our boring administrative side hustles, sipping our mediocre tap water and quietly clawing our way toward a baseline level of financial sanity. Anyway, my manager just sent me an urgent Slack message asking if I have the bandwidth to jump on a quick sync about the deliverables for Q3. I do not have the bandwidth. I barely have the will to live. But I have to go pretend that I care so I can afford to exist next month. If you actually sat through this entire manifesto on boredom, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel, and maybe one day I can afford to fix the rattling noise in my car. See you next time.